Hi there and welcome to Gaining Vision. I'm Melanie. Have you had an opportunity to subscribe to the channel yet? If not, take a second, hit subscribe. And please, if you're at it, why not hit the bell as well? That way you're able to be notified every time I upload a new video. And of course, please don't forget to like and share. People say common sense isn't so common anymore. And I have to agree. I've had a couple of situations this week I have to get off my chest. But let's look at this logically. As a child, we're taught the stove burner is hot. Therefore, we're not supposed to put our hand on the burner. Makes sense. That's common sense. During COVID-19, we're being told to wear a mask because it helps reduce the risk of spreading COVID-19. That's common sense. If the weather is cold out, you dress appropriately for the weather. Perhaps that means long pants, a sweater, or even a winter coat, scarf, and hat. All of these things come along with common sense. One would like to think that common sense just is something that we're all born with, but it is something that we have to be taught as a child growing up. But when we become adults, common sense is just as important. But we have a little bit more responsibility when it comes to common sense. Think about it, whether it's with your children, with customers, clients, students, whoever that you work with. You have to treat them as if they have common sense, but you also have to be able to adapt to their needs. So let me give you an example. This week, I reordered a prescription I had. I've been going to the same drugstore for over 10 years. They know that I'm blind. It's not a surprise. It's nothing new. And they also know that I have this medication that I've been taking for years. And it's something that's not going to be going away. Last month, I had run out renewals. So they faxed my doctor and off they sent. But my doctor's on mat leave. So it was a doctor that didn't know me and wrote no further refills until she sees the doctor. Okay, fine. Now, common sense would say to the pharmacist, oh, I better call Melanie and let her know that so she can do that before she needs it again. No, instead they went with the traditional way that they usually do it for everybody else and put it on the label of the bottle. So sure enough, when I went to renew my prescription this week, they said, oh, we can't do that because you have no refills. She then proceeded to tell me that this was written on my bottle. I said, you know I'm blind. You know I can't see that. So why would nobody call me? She's like, oh, well, we just assumed you would be able to see it. So I scratched my head and sat there for a minute. I thought, okay, common sense isn't so common. Now, we can't forecast that people are always going to be able to read our minds or have common sense. So perhaps we have to prepare ahead of time. And what I mean by that is taking initiative. It's kind of silly when you think about me having to chase after my pharmacist or the doctor's office to make sure they've done what I think is common sense. But setting people up as children or as students to understand what common sense actually is and to practice it every day. Another example, common sense says if you're hungry, you eat something. But common sense also says you are going to eat something that's just enough to fill your stomach. Not overeat or perhaps not go for a month without eating. You get the point. Common sense is logical. So why is it not so common anymore? Look at our world right now. Look at some of the leaders. Trump, unfortunately, is in the hospital right now with COVID-19. But if common sense had played right in his mind, he would have worn a mask. He wouldn't have put himself at risk. He is, in fact, trying to tell other people not to use their common sense and to go against the grain and do what other people are saying they should not do. So we have to, as leaders, as teachers, as parents, as employers, really impress the importance of common sense amongst the people we work with or that are come in contact with. If we were all in a world with no common sense, you can only imagine the chaos that we would have. So what can we do to change this? Well, we can lead by example and show common sense all the time. Or we could ask people to think about what they're doing or saying. So the next time a situation like this arises, in my situation with the pharmacist, when I went to pick up my prescription, after jumping through hoops to get it, I asked very simply, does it say on my file that I'm blind? She said, well, of course. I said, could you please make a note there in bold letters? If any messages need to be relayed to the patient or customer, please call. Simple. So next time you're faced with a situation, ask yourself, is it common sense? What would you do differently? How do you use common sense in your life? Think about it. Perhaps we'll have an off day where we're not thinking straight, and that will be different. But reality is, all of us have a responsibility to use our common sense to live a safe and happy life. Until next time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!